Sample-Exam2 solution video. Modify the line spacing of all the body text to 1.5 lines. Set the spacing after to 6 points and change the font of all the body text to Georgia 12 points. As you know, we need to do this in the normal style. So, spacing, the line spacing to 1.5 lines. Spacing after to 6 points. Oh, this was 6. And the font to Georgia 12 points. Okay. Set up the text box at the top so that the distance to the text below is 1 centimeter. Text box, right mouse click, more layout options, or we can also use this one. Text wrapping, bottom 1 centimeter. Step 3. Replace all instances of the word calypso in the body text, not in the text box, to the color RGB, and then you get a code. Now you can do two things. Either you search for calypso. Well, you could do a few things actually. Wait. Calypso. And you make sure that the search is down. It was already set to down because I made the sample exam once again before I did this video. And then you have to make sure that your insertion point is obviously below the text box, because then it will only search from the point where your insertion point is positioned. So I'm now going to go back and see where my insertion point is. So I'll put it here, because the assignment says that the word calypso in the text box should not be changed. What you can also do is just change everything, and then afterwards, but this is of course more work, change this one back to the blue color, which is tricky because it's not a standard color. So you would have to find the RGB code for it. You would have to write it down and then apply it to the word calypso. So that would be more work. So let's replace calypso, search down with calypso, and we are going to add formatting for the replace with box, and the formatting should be font size, more colors, custom, should be RGB code 0255 is fine. I'm pressing my tab key to go to the next one, 106 and 71. Okay, replace all, and then the first one should have been left unchanged. Okay, next. Step 4. Make first level titles of the paragraphs that begin Explore the World, Vacation Club Points, the point system, and ready to begin. I missed that one. Oh, here it is. Ready to begin. Make second level titles of the paragraphs that begin flexibility, convenience, affordability, purchase points, plan your vacation, and take off. Step 5. Modify the first level titles so that they have 24 point spacing before and 6 point spacing after. Remove the underlining and add a 1 point bottom border in a specific RGB color, and the border should stop at ±14 centimeters. So this means that the border should stop here. How do you set the border to stop there? With the right indent. Now, as you know, you do not set the right indent to 14, but this is the position of the right indent, which is about 1, 2, 3, 4. A little less than 4 centimeters. So the assignment also says more or less 14 centimeters. Doesn't have to be exact. So let's get started. Heading 1, modify. Paragraph, 24 spacing before, 6 point spacing after. Remove the underlining. Add a 1 point bottom border in a specific RGB color. So 1 point the color. So this is, if I'm not mistaken, the same color. Let me just go back to the assignment. Yes, it's the same color as the color that we used for Calypso. So that means that because we've defined it once, it will remain available to us until we close Word. So it will also be available in new documents that you start. So here it is. 1 point, bottom border. So I click to apply the bottom border. And it should stop at more or less 14, at approximately 14 centimeters. We determined that that was a right indent of about 4 centimeters, close to 4 centimeters, so I'm going to go to 3.94 would have been alright. 3.8, 3.7 would have been alright. So, as you see, it stops quite close to 14 centimeters. Now, step 6. Modify the first level title so that there is single spacing between the title and the bottom border. As you have learned, spacing before and spacing after do not affect the position of borders, but line spacing does. And the line spacing is 1.5 lines. So that's why we have this space. So what we need to do is, in heading 1, change the line spacing to single, so that the border is not so far away from the text. There we go. Let me just check, because it looks like maybe I don't have the spacing after. Indeed, the spacing after. Oh yes, I closed the dialog box before saving that, so I have to go back and do the 24 before and 6 point spacing after. There we are. Change the formatting, that is step 7. Change the formatting of the second level titles to italic and small caps. So italic and the small caps we will find in the font dialog box. Check. Step 8. Apply a clover bullet to the first level titles in the same color as the title, and position the bullet at 0 centimeters in the text at 0.7. So, first level titles. As you know, we need to use a multi-level list, and we first apply a standard one from the library that has the different heading styles associated with the list. And now we modify the list. So the first level, a clover bullet, is that in the list? It is in the list. If it hadn't been in the list, you could go to new bullet and you could find it here in the symbols right there. But it is in my list. I'm selecting it. So before I made this exam and I then put it in this color, which is not the correct color, so that's why it now appears in color, but with you it will probably appear just in black, so we need to change the color. And this is the color that we've already created, and this is the color that we need, so we don't need to define the RGB code again. This is the correct color. Position the bullet at 0 and the text at 0.7. There we are. Apply a arrow kind of bullet. Difficult for me to describe, but you can see it in the assignment. I didn't actually need to click here, but you know As you know from class, I always like to do that so that I jump immediately to heading 2. So no number for the previous level. We just need the specific bullet, which is also in the list. Should be just black. The bullet, which is called the number here, at 0, and the text at 0.7 as well. Okay. Step 11. Add solid round bullets to the 3 paragraphs under the flexibility title. So 1, 2, 3. And align the bullet to the left margin and position the text at 0.5. Do this using direct formatting. So I select at least part of the 3 paragraphs. Bullets and numbering is paragraph formatting, so it's not going to apply to only characters. That's why I do not need to select the full paragraphs. So the bullet left margin, I haven't applied bullets yet. Look what happened. So this is the bug that you learned about because we have defined bullets in our multi-level list. Word thinks that it is helping us by applying it here and applying heading 1 at the same time, which is obviously not what we want, so Control Z. But we can easily overcome this by toggling the menu and choosing the bullet from there. So now we have to position it. So 0 for the bullet and 0.5, as you know, with the hanging indent for the position of the text. Make a new style list paragraph bullets for the bullets you just created, and make sure that when pressing enter after the text after text formatted in the list paragraph bullet style, you continue typing in the list paragraph bullet style. So for this I'm going to open my styles pane. With the list still selected, I'm going to create a new style, list paragraph bullets, and the style for the following paragraph should also be list paragraph bullets. Make sure the spacing after of the normal style is retained for all lists with the list style paragraph bullets applied. So what is this? As you know, for list paragraphs, by default this is checked, so don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. So this means that the spacing after, which is defined in the normal style, will not be added in between each bullet, because each bullet has the same style. We are unchecking this because we do want the spacing settings to apply to the bullet list as well. Okay. Apply the new style to the paragraphs beginning make points reservations. Make point reservations. I'm not going to look for that manually. I'll just type it here. Make point reservations. Here it is. And ending frequently asked questions. Here it is. List paragraph bullets. 14. Make sure that the paragraph beginning "use are easy to follow planning tools" will never get separated from the bulleted list below it. So that's this paragraph. We never want this to get separated from the following paragraphs, or at least the first one. So we use direct formatting to keep it with next. Next step. Change the font size of footer to 10 points. Here's my footer. Modify. I don't even need to open the footer to do this. To 10 points. And then in the footer, insert a X of Y page number, unbold the numbers, and the text Calypso Vacation Club in the footer. Position both the page number and the text with the right tab, and you get the 2 tab positions. Delete any unnecessary tab positions. So let's have a look at the example. So we see that we need first the page 1 of total pages, and then Calypso Vacation Club, both positions with a right aligned tab. So here we are. So we don't need the center tab. Oh, sorry, we should delete it. Obviously we should delete it from the style. So let's go to the tabs. We don't need the center tab, but we need two right tabs at 13.5 set and one at 17.75 set, and we don't need the one that was already there, the 15 and something position. So here we are with the two right tabs, and now we are ready to insert our page. Oh, the center tab is still there, so we need to reapply the footer, and now it's gone. So we have our right tab here and the second right tab there. So I'm tabbing to the first one, and I am inserting in the current position a page 1 of 1, and I'm unbolding the numbers, and I tab again to right, Calypso Vacation Club. Here we are, exactly as in the example document. Step 17. Apply the list table style, list table 7 colorful accent 3 to the only table in the document, and clear formatting first. This is important because now the normal style is again applied and we get the spacing after. In this case we want this, in some cases you may not want that. Make sure that the table has a header row, banded rows, first column and last column. So let's start with that. Header row, banded rows, first column and last column. This is the one we need. So this has no effect because no style has yet been applied. So let's go to our list tables. We have light, table 3. So we need the 7. List table 5, list table 7, colorful accent 3. There is not really a system here to find the right one, so you just have to hover over it until you find it. So list table 7, colorful accent 3. That's it for step 17. Step 18. Below the paragraph beginning ready to begin, turn the web address into a hyperlink to that address. So I'm selecting this, and as you can see, the space is always automatically selected with it. So I hit Shift and my left arrow to take it out of the selection. I will copy this link so I don't need to type it, but usually Word is intelligent enough to know that you want to create a link to this address, and also here Word understood that this is the link you wanted, so Word has already filled it in, so I don't need to paste it here. Okay. Next, replace all hyphens in the document in non-breaking hyphens. So I type my hyphen and I go to special and I change it into a non-breaking hyphen. So if you've studied the course material, you know what this is. Replace all 22 replacements. Close. So you can see here, this is a non-breaking hyphen. So it looks slightly different with the formatting symbols on, slightly longer. Step 20. On the first page of the document, below the paragraph beginning this quick start guide, Control Home to go back to the beginning. The quick start guide, below the paragraph, press Enter and type in this document, colon, and press Enter. In the blank paragraph, insert a custom table of contents with the format simple. Do not show page number and include only the level 1 titles. And then delete the blank paragraph following the table of contents. References, table of contents, custom table of contents, because like I said, I did the sample exam before actually recording it. This is already set to simple, but by default it's set to from template. By default it's like this, so I'm changing it to simple, only show level 1, and I don't want to show the page numbers. Okay, now delete the blank paragraph. This is a bit tricky because look what happens when I press delete. I need to reapply the heading 1, so I could have just reapplied heading 1, or I could have just put my insertion point here and deleted the paragraph break after the final part of the table of contents. Modify the table of contents as followed. We only have one as follows. We only have one level, so we need to modify the TOC1 style. Now let's see what we need to do. Font Georgia 12 points not bold, spacing before 0, and position of the text 0.5 centimeters. So you know that Word automatically positions the text with a tab, which is not good practice. We need to replace this with a hanging indent, but you also know that we have the tab bug in the table of contents in the TOC styles. So if we want to actually take out this tab and actually see it in the tab dialog box, we need to fiddle around with it a bit first, because otherwise it will not show up. So let's hope that this was enough fiddling, and let's go to TOC1 now. Font Georgia 12 points, not bold, spacing before none, and the position of the text 0.5. We need a hanging indent, and of course take out the tab at 0.75, which we can now see, to make the hanging indent work. You could have also taken out, by the way, you could have also taken out this tab stop, because we don't have a page number, so we don't really need it, but it's not getting in the way either, so I'm just leaving it there. So that's it. That was the final step, and that concludes our sample exam 2.